So what is our partnership with University of Suffolk? So University of Suffolk is a very beautiful and prestigious university that is located in the UK. The courses that are delivered via our, let me clarify this, UNICAF itself is the sponsorship body. So we have UNICAF University and UNICAF. Do not confuse the two. So UNICAF is a sponsorship body that gives you the scholarship. UNICAF University is a university you can study with. University of Suffolk is the partner university you can study with. East London University is a partner. So I think we are clear around that. So UNICAF delivers all university programs online via a state of e-learning environment, which is very, very huge, and has a personal support to students. And I know I had long ago, before I did my master's, I used to hear people saying that online learning is very easy because nobody will be able to know if you are learning. Do not apply for this scholarship if you're not ready to learn, because our platform has a way of verifying who is the student, okay? And every assignment that you do, I'm not scaring you, but I'm just telling you that we have ensured that we have followed all the rules that are required by these bodies to ensure that the person that is studying is the person that gets the degree at the end of the day. So there are assignments. There's no sitting class where you're going to supervise you, but there are assignments and they're highly monitored, and we check for plagiarism, percentages, and all that. So you will have to get the knowledge that you're acquiring by yourself to ensure that you graduate for that course. So University of Suffolk is responsible for the academic quality of the program. So what do you mean by this? If today you graduate University of Suffolk, your certificate is not labeled UNICAF. It is University of Suffolk. We are only assisting you get your sponsorship or scholarship, and then assist you in the application process up to when you're admitted, and then we transfer you to the university. All right? So I think that's a clarification. So we have the mode of learning as online. Bachelor degrees offered under University of Suffolk is a BSc Honors in International Nursing top-up for those who would like to pursue that. And we have a master's degree that is an MSc in Public Health and also an MBA. When we move to Liverpool John Moores University, it's a very beautiful, dynamic institution. You can go online and Google about them. And it has a world-class capacity to handle students from all over the world. Again, the courses we offer here are online, just like we said. The certification of the degrees will be under the university, Liverpool John Moores University. Again, the courses under this university are so many. Some of them we have not listed here because of space, of course, but you can always get to our website to see what is of your interest. And so we have an MA in Leadership Education, MA Nursing, MA International Relations, MSc Project Management, MSc Civil Engineering, MSc Computing and Information Systems. So much to choose for. Masters in Law, MBAs, and different specification in MSc International Public Health and all that. All right? So there is no limit to what you want to choose. We have very many masters degrees that you can be able to pursue under Liverpool John Moores University. Then we have the partnership under UNICAF, University of East London. Just like the name, it is based in London, and it is one of our newest partner that we have brought on board for the last years. One of the universities that people love so much. And UNICAF is really proud because we were selected as the exclusive global partner of the university to deliver its programs to people all over the world through the digital platform. When you want to be a student of East London, you have an option of taking an ABA, LLM General Degree, MSc International Business, Data Science, Construction, Engineering Management, MSc in Business Psychology, MSc Big Data Technologies, and so many that you can just get online and get to see. I know you have a flyer with you. It may not have all the courses. Get to visit our website to see all those information. Then we have a partnership with University of California, Riverside Extension, which drives our short courses. So for all the short courses that we offer, this is the university that you will pick to pursue, and we have over 300 courses to choose from. All those you can also access virtually so that you can be able to make a decision on the same. Now, the professional courses under UNICAF University, this is just but a few. We have human resource, psychology, organizational leadership, hospitality, business management, project management, just to mention but a few. So I know after today, knowing that UNICAF is legit, you're going to find some time to just check through all those courses. UNICAF University, so this is like the one that most people know about, is a university that we aim to have in all African countries, Nairobi being one of them, of course, in the near future. So it offers generous scholarships and facilitate online delivery of the university's international bachelor's, master's, PhDs programs, as well as the short courses via our VLE, that is the virtual learning environment. The good thing is our VLE works like a WhatsApp group, such that you have students from all over the world. Some people are in Asia, some people are in Europe, some people are in Africa, so everybody has the timing. There's no limitation on when you want to study. Wherever you are online, that is when you can be able to access the class and discuss assignments with your fellow students and all that. It is 24/7 available for you. You can access it. We have a UNICAF app that you can download on your mobile phone to assist you also with your studies. So the UNICAF University degree are taught by very experienced tutors from all over the world. The good thing about online learning, you're not restricted to be taught by only a few people from your country. So we have tutors from all over the world that are able to help students think out the box. One of the privileges that we have had is that when people are doing their PhDs, they take forever. Some people just stop doing them along the way because of the frustrations they get through. When you go to the website, you'll find our alumni talking about the experience studying with us. There is no delay. The delay can only come from your end if you are not honoring your promise. But you can be able to dictate when you want to graduate and have your degree. So the UNICAF University programs include a BA in Business Administration, a BA in Hospitality Management, BA in English Language, a Bachelor's in Law, BSc in Computer Science, and BSc in Accounting and Finance. Again, these are not all the courses under UNICAF University programs. As you can see, you have a very long list to choose from. The master's program. The MBA itself has 5 specializations. You can either do MBA Management, MBA Finance, MBA Health Management, MBA Management Information System, MBA Oil and Gas and Energy Management, and all these other courses for web design development, organization psychology, education, just to mention but a few. We also have doctoral degrees, and these are not so many, but we have the ones that the market really needs for now. So we have a PhD in Marketing Management, PhD in Information Technology, PhD in Education, PhD in Business Administration, PhD in Accounting, a DBA, that is a Doctor of Business Administration, and EDD, that is Doctor of Education. For the short courses, probably you're wondering how long that would take. They last between 4 to 6 weeks. These are all on scholarships, by the way, and the courses are offered through our online platform, just like the rest. So the certification under this is UNICAF University. So if you are doing a short courses under UNICAF University, you will get a certificate under that. So what is in it for you today? This is one of the highest scholarships that has ever been given for ages. A lot of things and prices of things have gone up, and that affected even the scholarships that were being offered. But today, we are saying, for all the commitments and registrations that are going to take place, you are assured of 80% scholarship. For you to understand this better, when somebody applies online today, how many have ever applied a scholarship with UNICAF? Did you proceed? No. Can I answer why you didn't proceed? Because you thought the amount is too high, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you? Okay. So most of the reasons why we get is that sometimes if you put in your application through www.unicaf.org, the scholarship can be anything between 0 to what percentage, because it has to go through the scholarship committee. They have to vet if you really qualified or deserve, because a lot of people might just apply and they can be able to foot their scholarships and all that. The beauty of it today is that all our registrations that we have for this particular function do not have to go through the scholarship committee, as long as you have the correct documentation that is needed for the scholarship. It is assured that you are going to get an 80% scholarship. So ensure that you take advantage of that. And so as we proceed, probably you're wondering in your head, this is why we started doing this, because when people, like she said that she stopped applying because she thought it was a scam, because people were having negative comments on that. So we usually have student events that we organize yearly, and so our students come from different places of this sphere and of the world to come join in together, network, share the experiences as part of the UNICAF family. So for the last years we have had meetings in London. We have students in Dubai and also in Cape Town. I'm going to share with you a short video on that. A life-changing opportunity indeed for our students as they meet together in different years. As you can see, the last event was in 2019, 2020 and 2021. We didn't have it because of COVID, but this year we are back at it. Next month we are in Dubai again. The students say they want to go back to Dubai. So next month from 17th, our students will be gathering again this year for their yearly conference, because they are online learners and they need to meet with each other. They need to network and share the experience, meet their tutors in those conferences physically, so that they can also be able to just network. What is in it for students who are in the different countries? In the different countries, we also have events. Like in Kenya, we have done so many events that last month, is it last month or like 2 weeks ago, we had a quiz night for our students in Kenya. We have done hiking. We've gone to Mount Longonot. We have done Kala Run. We have gone to Camp Ndunda. We have danced. We have done so much together with our students, and at least 4 events in a year for every country, so that students in each country can be able to get a chance to just be together. So on this particular video, I'm going to share with you the events that have been done in the past years.
All you need is one dream. All you need is one goal. All you need is one click. UNICAF can make your every dream come true. Yeah, no dreams too big. No dream not too small. first step to success. Oh yeah, 'cause UNICAF is here. UNICAF is here.
Great. UNICAF is definitely here.
All you need is one drink.
Sorry. UNICAF is definitely here for you. I do not want to talk much. They say the best of the products do not have to talk too much. When something is good, you will just buy it. You don't need somebody to really convince you. You need to demystify what you had in your mind, and that is what I have done. At this moment, I want to throw it back to the crowd in case they have questions. Pansy? So if you have a question, a comment. Yes.
My name is Penina Nyawera. You have mentioned about the 80% sponsorship. What is the timeline? You have only mentioned about if anyone registers now, but what's the cutoff timeline?
Okay, thank you. So for this particular one, I know when you come out of this event, you will have registered with our desk. You got to tell us when you would wish us to connect you with a student advisor, which we have an office, by the way, in Kenya. We are located at West Park Suites, Ojijo Road, 7th floor. So feel free to visit us. We usually have a lot of sessions on CV writing that are free of charge that you can attend, how to tackle your interviews and all that. So we have a physical presence. So if you find time, kindly visit us. So for this particular one, once you register, there is a code that will be generated. That is the code you'll be using for that particular time. So you will inquire of the information and agree with your advisor when you think you can be able to study. Yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
You've said the scholarships could go from 0 to 80%. And you have said it's another discussion of the board or whoever is
Committee, yeah.
the committee. However, is there something we can do in our application or during the whole process that can boost our chances of success, or is it all left to the committee?
Yeah. Like I said, thank you so much. Like I said, for the people who had applied for this particular event, under your application, there is a landing page. We call it a landing page. I don't know how to call that in a layman's language. That's a digital term. We have a landing page whereby there's a code that will be generated once you make that application. So we can re-forward it to you if you don't have it. That code is what you will use. The people under this are assured and guaranteed the 80%. It doesn't go to the scholarship committee. But if you go to www.unicaf.org and apply, then you have to go through the entire procedure, and I cannot tell you what amount of scholarship you can get. This function that we are here, you and the people who, I told you we had like 900 and something registration, and we just shortlisted 50 to come for this particular event. The rest are watching us online. They're also part of this. If they had registered earlier, they have the guarantee of the 80% scholarship. Yeah. So we'll be able to know, because you'll tell us, I knew UNICAF from the BrighterMonday and UNICAF seminar that happened in Norfolk. We can be able to verify that from the list of registration. Right? Any other question? Concern?
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Martin, and I have a question. Only for online programs, or so one can go to the campus for physical learning?
All the UK university online. All UK universities online. The only places that you can do blended learning is if you want to go to Malawi, Zambia, and Uganda. Those are the places that have been able to acquire their physical universities so far.
Thank you.
Yes.
Nobody has a follow-up question on whether when you go to Malawi you are sponsored more than the school fees, the accommodation, what? No? Nobody wants to know that?
So Pansy asked that, which is a very good question. The initial, how do you call it? How we plan this is the ease for you to study online, to reduce on your costs after getting your scholarship so that you minimize cost and all that. That is why we opted for the online version of it, okay? So, but if you want to go physically to University of, UNICAF University in Malawi or Zambia or Uganda, that will be on your cost. All we will give you is scholarship for your degree, not your travel and accommodation. Yeah. But you can still pursue the same wherever you are online.
On my left, there's that whiteboard. There's Wi-Fi, there's a password. I want you guys to go online, or you can use your bundles. There is a discussion happening on Twitter. I want you to take a selfie, or I want you to just comment on the first speaker's conversation. Just anything that is your takeaway. Just comment on that. By then itaangalia. I will check. So the hashtag is UNICAF in caps X BrighterMonday. The first person who posts, please lift your hand up. Raise your hand if you've already posted. Sasa simu zinatoka. So if you post, just raise your hand. I promised gifts for the first hand raised. I thought we were fast typers. We are generation, which one? You're done? All right. So, I keep my word, so you get a BrighterMonday notebook. Karibu sana. All right, so we are going to change our program a bit. Our guest speaker was supposed to speak last, but we are going to interchange that so that we can have a recruiter giving us insights on BrighterMonday and other good topics that she has later. So I'd like to invite Sharon Gogi. She is the marketing manager at Nairobi Garage. She has been a marketer for 5 years. How many of you are practicing at work what you studied? So only 3 of us in this room are practicing what we studied. So Sharon, karibu sana. Makofi. It's not easy to speak in front of people. You have a presentation? Yes, I do.
Good afternoon, everyone. That's much better. So I'd like to start with a question before we get to the presentation. I'd want 3 volunteers to tell me what, or rather, who is your favorite brand? It could either be a business, it could be an individual, a car company, literally anything. Who's your favorite brand? Okay. Yes, someone else? Why Safaricom? Thank you. You said your name was? Thank you, Penina. Who else? Yes? Coca-Cola. Why? Okay. Is there anyone who has an individual in mind? It could be anyone. It could be your mom, your dad, literally anyone. EABL. Why EABL? Why? Is there a particular reason?
I think the products have been consistent all over throughout since they began and met specific needs for specific ages.
Okay, great. We don't have any individual, like there's no one who, why? Yeah, thank you. Great. So I'll be speaking about personal branding for career progression. Okay. I'm going to start with a quote that I quoted. Personal branding is showing people how to address you instead of wondering why they did it, how they did. So that is a bit of an introduction of who I am. So my name is Sharon Gogi, currently working as a marketing manager of Nairobi Garage. I am your favorite brand storyteller. I keep saying this is usually part of my elevator pitch. You know, when I meet someone and they ask me who you are, what do you do, I say, I'm your favorite brand storyteller. Together we tell stories. I tell stories for a living, honestly. And, you know, and we create beloved brands. Yeah? Because I believe the best marketers are the ones who know how to tell stories in a way that people want to relate with, and people want to be a part of. Okay? So in line with that, I also am a brand strategist. I do brand marketing, brand management, and just enabling brands to move from one step to the next. What's the big question? I'm sure when you came here, you were wondering, you know, what is all this about? And how can you build your personal brand to take you to the next level in your career? Yeah? So the first thing I'm going to, I'm a believer in simplifying presentations using pointers. Because at the end of the day, if I came here and gave you a speech for like 1 hour, for sure you will not remember like 30% of it. But if I give you points, moving forward, these are things that you can use in your life. So the first thing I said, I am a brand storyteller. So I think for me, when Pansy asked, like, how many people are practicing what they learned in school, like, I studied communication in Daystar. So I did a degree, BA in communication, majored in public relations, and soon after that, I was thrown into the world of marketing. The beauty about marketing and communication is the difference. Well, there's a big difference, but it's easier to marry those two careers as opposed to someone who did finance and then you're forced to now do marketing on the side, yeah? But I feel like marketing is one of those things that you can do just purely out of passion. When you have the passion for it, like you can literally become the best marketer just by that. As long as you have the things that, you know, like will propel you and will set you apart from the competition. Because the truth is, I think marketing is one of the very, very saturated careers, not just in Kenya, but the world over. You know, you meet people all over and most people are in marketing. So how will you set yourself apart from everyone else? And before I continue, I'd like to know what career paths do we have in this place? So just popcorn answers, like if you're in finance, if you're in, I just want to know the kind of people I'm speaking to. Popcorn, if you're a student, like literally anything. Advertising? Mm-hmm. Engineering, oh nice. Yeah. Uh-huh. Real estate, okay. The men, just one man is bold enough to say. Finance, mm-hmm. Criminology, wow. How is that? It's fine. Has it been a challenge for you to get a job through that career? Okay. Oh, then you're in the perfect place. I wish some of us had this kind of opportunities when we were starting out. So for me, I think, as I was saying, I did communication and majored in PR and was thrown into the world of marketing. So the first thing, when I say storytelling, I think there's this really interesting quote. You're never going to kill storytelling because it's built in the human plan. We come with it. I feel if I was to give every single person in this ballroom a chance to speak about something, for sure you will not lack something to say. And stories are not so complicated. It could literally be about anything and everything, you know? And being able to just to tell a story. Has anyone had an encounter with a con man? We live in Nairobi, so we've all gotten character development at one point or the other, right? And the moment you've been conned from money, usually just sit down, call yourself into a meeting and ask yourself how and why. But when you remember the way this person packaged themselves, you couldn't have done anything else. Like it was beyond you. Like they sold something to you. Like, it's like selling something absurd, but they make it so believable. And you have to buy it. Like you have to send that money. Like you see the people from prisons, the way they do, they'll call you. I have witnessed someone actually being duped like that. So they got a call and this person told the story in such a way that, she had to send that money. And after she had sent the money is when it hit her, wait, what have I just done? And that's the power of storytelling. Let me tell you another thing about Coca-Cola. We all know, okay, I shouldn't say this, but Coca-Cola is not the healthiest drink, right? But when they do the advertising, like, first of all, what do you think about? Enjoyment? You think about freshness. You think, oh my goodness, when I'm thirsty, like the only thing I need in my life is a Coke. Because of the way they've told their stories in such a way that that's all you think about. So think about it, all the brands that you've spoken about, Safaricom, Tuinwane, that's their current campaign, right? When you see anything they've posted about Tuinwane, you can't, like for me, I always feel like, oh, like these guys really care about us. And that's the beauty of storytelling. You appeal to the emotions of a person. And when you do that, whether it's in an interview, whether it's, like writing your CVs, you can literally use storytelling to get yourself anywhere in life. That's my belief. And to be honest, that's my experience in my life so far. I have used stories to be able to just, even on my LinkedIn, when you check my LinkedIn, shameless plug, Sharon Gogi, I tell stories very often about who I am, about life, about marketing, and my experience so far. And that's really helped me to grow my brand in that way. So this is also a secret. Anytime you go into an interview and you're told, okay, fine, what more can you bring to the table? This is usually a very good thing to sell. And the beauty about storytelling is it can help you in something that I am very, very passionate about, employee advocacy. I keep saying employees were to advocate for their companies. You see the way I've asked, what's the best brand? And UNICAF were all up in the air saying UNICAF. Others are saying, if you do not speak about the brand that you work for, I feel like, for example, for me, when I'm looking for companies on LinkedIn, I usually check employees. There's something about when a brand is loved, like people can't stop speaking about it. You get, there are people, for example, who work in EABL, and when you meet them, you will not go home without knowing they work for EABL. Have you met such people? Or when you work for the UN, it's not because they're bragging, it's just because they really believe in the brand that they're working for and in the person that the brand is. So the other thing I wanted to speak about is how to be a phenomenal storyteller. So number one, always aim for quality. Quality versus anything else. And how do you do that? It's by showing how when you get into this company, how will you make the company better? Yeah? And that's why we are told, the thing, when you start saying about how I need this job so much, my family is suffering, you lose it because no one cares at the end of the day. No one cares whether you slept hungry. No one cares whether you don't have food for the next day. People care about how when you come into my life, you'll make my life better. Yeah? Finally, ask for feedback. I think this is usually very important because communication is two-way. It's not a monologue. In as much as you're doing a branding for yourself, in as much as it's important to ask for feedback because one, it makes you a better person. Even at the workplace, when you have your line manager, when you're constantly asking your line manager, how can I become better? This person will see that you're actually intentional about growing and becoming better. And when you become better, it's for the common good of the company. Yeah. Second thing is traction and an online presence. I think for me, I know people will come at me and say, what if I don't like social media? What if I don't want to be on social media? But at the end of the day, your brand, even online, can set you apart from everyone else. Think about it right now, when for example, this is a perfect example. We had 980 applicants for this particular event, but we've only shortlisted 50 people. So when you go for an interview and you find hundreds and hundreds of people there, what is that one thing that will set you apart? Truth is, everyone has a degree, and that's why they've been called to that interview. Probably, most people have a master's degree in the current times we're living in. Everyone has job experience. So what is that one thing that you will do that will set you apart from the rest? When you come in and say, for example, this is my own personal experience. So when I come in and I say, I have an online presence of about 10,000 plus followers, and using that, if I, when you mention that company, that's free marketing, because they won't pay you to of course, they won't pay you to speak about the company, but that's a value add, So I think it's very important to bare minimum LinkedIn. If you're a job seeker, for example, and you're not on LinkedIn, guys, how many are not on LinkedIn? I'd want to know why. Is there a particular reason why? Just a choice. I think for me, LinkedIn is, honestly, it's like one of my favorite platforms, because there I get to learn so much from people, not just about me or anything. It's about people share their experiences, people share their journeys. You get to learn mistakes people have made and ways in which you cannot make such mistakes. Because the truth is, for example, these very high-end people, high chances are you'll not meet them easily. So you'll not meet them easily and have a one-on-one conversation. But through their LinkedIn platforms, you'll get to hear about their life story, you'll get to hear about their successes. So I think for me, it's very important to have at least an online presence that you can use rather that you can leverage on in this very highly competitive world. Yeah. So here's another quote. I am a lover of quotes, by the way, in case you didn't realize. Nobody cares about you, your brand, or your company. You are irrelevant until proven otherwise. By Steve Woodruff. That's truth. I don't think I can even say anything more than that. Because at the end of the day, remember, we are selfish as human beings. We think about ourselves alone and ways in which we can get ahead in life. So unless you prove that you are a valuable resource to me, I will not even give you my time. And at the end of the day, time is the most precious thing, because it can never be reversed. Okay? Are we together? Okay. So the third thing that's very important when it comes to personal branding is an elevator pitch. How many have an elevator pitch? Okay. How many know what an elevator pitch is? Okay, nice. So this is, think about being in an elevator. When you get into for example, you've gotten into an elevator with, let's just say His Excellency, William Ruto. By chance, you were in Norfolk, you wanted to go to the top floor, and by chance, you just met him in an elevator. What would you do with those 20 to 30 seconds? That's what an elevator pitch is. Because sometimes in life, you meet people who can transform your life completely, and you have just 30 seconds to sell yourself. And it's very important to always have this. Actually, let me become like a pastor. If you forget anything else I've said this evening, remember this particular pitch, okay? So, what should you have in an elevator pitch? Number one, basic information. Name, company, and idea. So who are you? Because you can't just start speaking to someone and you've not introduced yourself. It's not courteous. So who are you? What's your company? Or rather, what's your idea? Most times you'll say, maybe you don't have a business, but you have this brilliant idea, and you've always said, if I get someone, if I just got an opportunity, when I say this idea, I'm sure it will sell everything. So that's the thing you always need to have in your mind. So are you in the process of, starting out a business? What do you want to do with this business? That's what you need to have in your mind. Second thing, value. Value, value, value. Why should anyone give you 30 seconds of their life? Yeah? And the thing about this, especially it's a person you know, maybe it's someone who's very popular and you've been following their journey for a while, and you probably know some of the struggles they're going through. This is a place where you plug in. So for example, you said you're a real estate agent. So you've seen you're selling this house, and you've seen this person has been speaking about how they're looking for land, for example. That's a time to sell yourself. And the thing about that is they'll see that this is someone who's serious with their craft. Because by the fact that you've actually realized a need they have, and you're coming with a solution, there you have it, and someone will definitely give you that time after that. For example, this is something I just wrote. So I recently saw your post on LinkedIn where you shared your struggle. Oh, remember, you've introduced yourself, okay? I recently saw your post on LinkedIn where you shared your struggle in generating quality leads for your holiday home in Diani. I have a proven track record in working with global real estate companies to generate quality leads that are converted into paying customers, with an average conversion rate of 35%. Then finally, you have to have a call to action. So, sounds too good to be true, right? Kindly share your contact details and I can reach out to you with case studies. When you say that, someone will definitely give you their number, someone will definitely give you their business card, because they've seen you're not just talking, you have data, one, you have evidence, and once you have evidence, someone will, probably, and the fact that you already have a foundation that this person is actually looking for a solution in this particular problem they have. So definitely you are guaranteed that this person will give you their number. And then once you get their number, the rest will be history, because you've done your part, now you need to follow up, okay? But this elevator pitch is very, very important. I think even now, when you go back home, just go and try and think about yourself and who you are, what you offer to the world. That's another thing. Because sometimes you'll be, the way you go to a conference and then you're asked to talk randomly. And you never have anything to say most times because, first of all, you're panicking, you don't like speaking in front of people, and you're wondering what you'll start with. This is a very good way to always be prepared. When you have an elevator pitch, you can use it literally anywhere because you're providing value. So, and then you can have elevator pitches for literally different things. So for example, you can have the one that I've just spoken about. When you're called to speak randomly, what should you be saying about who you are? You remember when we started, I said, this is sort of my elevator pitch. I'm your favorite brand storyteller. Together, we create magic and build unforgettable brands. That's my elevator pitch. So when I meet people and they ask me, so who are you? Tell us about yourself. What do you do for a living? What's your 8 to 5 like? That's how I introduce myself. And even on my introduction on my LinkedIn, that's exactly what I have there. Okay? Then the fourth point, I'm sure we've had this over and over again, and probably it sounds so cliche, but the truth is it's something that we cannot avoid. You dress how you want to be addressed. That's the same thing when you go for an interview, when you go on a date, when you literally do anything, how you're dressed will speak volumes about who you are. Another quote, as I said, I love quotes. You can have anything that you want if you dress for it, by Edith Head. So I'd want us to do a practical example. So these are 3 women. I hope you can all see. So I'll randomly pick people to just share. The first woman, Pansy. When you see the first woman there, what do you think about? Mm-hmm.
She is casual.
Mm-hmm.
She could be running her own business, but she knows what she wants and how to get it.
Okay, great. The second woman, I forgot your name, the guy in criminology. What's your name? Dennis. What do you think about the second lady? Or rather, when you see her, what do you think? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Third lady, this table. What do you think about the third lady? Yeah. Why is anyone not saying this? Yeah, she is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Does anyone want to say something else that's come to the last lady? She loves life. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great. So you see, when you hear this thing about dress how you want to be addressed, I think I thought about it and I was like, pictures will just tell the story, because you guys are the ones who've told me exactly what, and we don't know who they are. I actually just saw these pictures on Pinterest. I have no idea who these people are, but just by the virtue of how they've dressed, you can literally tell their life story just from their pictures. Okay? Second one, I believe in gender equality, so let's do the gentleman's thing. First picture, this table here is not speaking, on my right. First picture. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, thank you. Second. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why do you say that? Because he's very simply dressed, but why do you say that? Mm-hmm.
So most people who are super, super wealthy are not flashy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
he's very chill, but you can see there's some element of class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. You wanted to say something? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a first guy, the old guy with gray hair. Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But let me contradict you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're rich and spoiled, more often than not, it is not your money. So you are not basically rich. You are rich by proxy.
Mm-hmm. But in reality, what's the data? Like, how many people have that kind of privilege in reality? 10%, exactly. So most of us, unfortunately, will fall under the 90%. So we have to work hard to get to, you know, like dress like that, live a certain lifestyle. But thank you for that pointer. Second guy in blue. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, especially because you're in advertising, I'm sure you'd know that. Second guy in blue, anyone else? He's an actor. Yes, he is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly, because that suit is tailor-made for him perfectly. Third guy. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Someone said business. Mm-hmm. A what? Big shot. Mm-hmm. Okay. Last guy. Mm-hmm. CEO. Mm-hmm. No nonsense. Is it because of his facial expressions? Uh-huh. Okay. Great. So I think at the end of the day, when you're building your own brand, you decide how you want to dress. And that's the beauty of having, you know, like that anatomy. Like you decide how you want your brand to be viewed. You want to be the person who's always brightly dressed. And when you build that brand according to how you dress, it's easy to be identified. You remember, I'm not sure if it's a politician, Charles Jonjo, who used to wear one suit all his life. And when you see that suit, you can't associate it with anyone else or anything else. It's just him. So I'm not telling you to go and find one black and white top that you'll wear all your life. Guys, please don't get it wrong. I'm just telling you it's important to be very keen in how you dress. Because even when you get into an interview, your dress, before you say anything, how you've dressed and presented yourself will speak volumes. People will either choose to respect you, to judge you, to not give you their day or time of day based on how you've dressed. So even as you're trying to build yourself in your career, it's important, for example, when you know, and then that's where the whole research comes in. Because when you know you're going to, for example, interview at an advertising agency, you know they're not so uptight with having to dress official. But you cannot dress like a person going to an agency when you're going to a bank. I promise you'll be thrown from the entrance. Like no one will give you could be the best banker in the world. But just by doing that, people will just cancel you immediately. Especially some jobs, and the worst part is sometimes you're not given a chance to prove yourself. You won't be like, guys, please, I promise you, just give me 5 minutes of your time. People will listen to you, but at the end of the day, they've already concluded what they have to conclude in their minds. And then you see, if you're looking for a job especially, you see when you're in business, you have You can do anything you want. Nobody cares. And that's why the lady, you remember the lady here, most times you won't dress up like this when you're going to work in most Kenyan organizations, but when you're an entrepreneur, it's easy for you to decide exactly how you want to look. The fifth point is, please, if you have any questions, you can write them down somewhere and I'll answer at the end. So don't waste a chance at making a good first impression. Again, the other quote, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Will Rogers. And that's the thing about, especially, you remember when I was saying the way I messed up in an interview and I gave a wrong product offering. I could have literally scored 90% in everything, but just that one thing cost me a lot. So remember, always be on your best behavior, especially if you're on this journey towards growing your career, when you're on this journey towards, maybe you're doing interviews every so often. It's always important to be on your best behavior because you never know who you'll meet. One, you remember the elevator pitch. And I feel like all my points are intertwined into one because so many times you'll meet someone who has potential to change your life completely. But if you don't sell yourself, you won't have a chance. The sixth point is track your achievements and proudly state them when asked. When it comes to career building, guys, there's nothing like bragging. If you've done something, say it. And I'm speaking especially for ladies because I've noticed as women, we tend to shy away from speaking about our roles, from speaking about our successes, from speaking about who we are and what we bring to the table. But trust me, when it's men, when they get into a space, even when they don't know anything, their confidence is over here. And they will sell something and you'll feel like, wow. Even in promotions, think about promotions. Men will apply to roles that they have no business applying for, but they will do it anyway. So I think this, in my few years of experience, I have learned it's very important to sell yourself. Sell yourself, remember you have to have data. We are not speaking about stories just with no base. Like you have to have data. You have to have proof because people seeing is believing. Yeah? I won't come and tell you I've done this and this and this and this and there's nothing to show for it. So there's this method that I usually use and it's helped me so far in my life, in my career. It's called the STAR model. So the STAR model, S is for situation. Describe the situation that you are in. So I think moving forward, now that you have had this, for example, you can be doing this even on a monthly basis. Like you can decide, I'll be doing this every quarterly, every yearly or monthly. Look at yourself, your current position. What problem have you solved? For example, what situation were you in? Did you have to think on the box? Maybe you had planned for an event and then the guest speaker doesn't show up last minute. That's the situation you are in. So you describe the situation, then the task. So under task is challenges, constraints, deadlines, and issues. So what are some of the challenges you had when you were trying to achieve this particular goal? What are some of the constraints you had? What are some of the deadlines you were working with? And the issues that you were met with. Then action. Describe the action you took. And under action, you highlight things like teamwork, things like leadership, things like initiative, integrity, like basically in that particular situation, what action did you take to be able to make the situation better, to be able to make the situation lighter, because at the end of the day, it's the solutions that matter. Because everyone in life is met with issues. You see the way there's this quote that says, life does not happen to you, you respond to life. So fine, this has happened. How are you going to solve that particular situation? Then finally, what are the results that you got? In as much as this happened, and it's good to have good teamwork, it's good to be a leader and to have initiative, but remember, people are very selfish. They want to know, how does that benefit me? Great, you're good at keeping time. Great, you're good at speaking and doing presentations, but how does that benefit me as a company? If I'm looking to hire you into my company, how will that benefit me? So, and yeah, I think the final point I have is you have to be unforgettable. You have to be that person who, once you walk out of that interview, people will always remember, even if it's just one thing they'll remember. If it's a joke you gave, if it's your elevator pitch, if it's the way you had dressed, the worst thing, one of my worst fears in life is to die and be forgotten. As in, that means you left no legacy, no one bothered about your time on earth, like you just die and you're forgotten. That is so sad. You know, even if it's just by 10 people, if it's your family, if it's your friends, you need to live a life that's unforgettable. And it's by doing all these things, it's by these small, you know, steps that you're making that will help you get there. Do not overthink this whole thing. It's not that complicated. It's not rocket science. It's simply just being you and knowing that you bring something to the table, okay? Being able to speak about it, being able to present yourself, being able to, just knowing that you bring something to the table will give you the kind of confidence that you need to get to the next level. Yeah, so that's it from me. You can connect with me on social media at Sharon Gogi. All the social media platforms labeled there: Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So thank you so much, guys. Is there anyone who has a question?
Questions? 0 questions means either, okay, there is one.
Thank you for the presentation. The first one that I'd like to know is about this, they're called what, mentors and mentees, and there's this one, they call, I've forgotten the name.
Godfathers.
No,
Oh.
Godfathers. They deal with coaches and coaching, because it's coming up. I'd like to know your take, and they're quite costly. So I'd like to know your take on that and how to navigate that.
Okay.
To, as a for career growth. And then the second one is, could you share the slide you did about dressing that coat for that person? Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. So the first thing about mentorship, I am a child of mentorship, to be honest. I think if there's something I vouch for, is that. And the thing about mentorship is it doesn't have to be expensive. My mentors, one is my auntie. Like, she's, you know, like, she's done amazing things in terms of her career. I look up to her in so many ways, and she's really helped me change my mindset about life in general. I have, you know, it could be your mom. Probably your mom has really scaled the heights in terms of her career. Like, having a coach is amazing if you can pay for it. You get. But you don't kill yourself if you can't. There are so many people out here who are willing to just walk the journey with you. And I have a friend who's always saying, we don't have because we don't ask. You know, like, maybe if you texted someone on LinkedIn, someone who you think you could never reach, they'll respond, and you'll be so fascinated at how open they are to helping you just by asking. So I think it's very important, because I think for me, another thing that has really changed the game for me is books. People don't speak about this a lot, but books are free mentorship. Of course, you pay a certain price for it, but this is someone like Michelle Obama on Becoming. She's written her whole life story there, things that she had to, you know, challenges she faced, how she overcame those. If you were even to sit with her, she wouldn't say all this in one sitting. So just having books is a very good form of mentorship, and I think it's important for all of us to develop that habit of reading, because that way you get to speak with these people without actually having to be with them. So I think mentorship is very important, and I have many mentors in my life. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Any other question? Comments, sentiments?
Thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you.
We appreciate what you're doing. My question is on personal branding and social media. It's called social media influencer. Where do we draw the line?
Okay. So you mean, how do you stop yourself from becoming an influencer when you're trying to build a brand? Okay.
Thank you.
First of all, I think there is no issue with being an influencer, because why wouldn't you want to make more coins if you can? But you see, when you build your personal brand, you also get to dictate the kind of brands you can work with. Yeah. So in as much as you're building your personal brand, you'll find there's certain companies that cannot approach some people, not because they can't do a good job. Yes, they can, but because of how they've built themselves, they won't even appear as a suggestion. You'll find this person has millions of followers, but if this company is looking for an influencer, they won't look at that person, because that brand and their brand, they don't intertwine. So I think, well, if you are on your journey towards building your brand, becoming an influencer could be an added advantage. because you get to make more money from it. You get, I mean, having influence, if it's used in the right way, it's also great because you remember this influence, you can also use it when you get into an interview and people will ask you, what more do you bring to the table? You say, I can use my brand in this and this way to help the brand grow at the end of the day. So I think once you've cracked the personal branding bit, even when you become an influencer, you already know that you've already cut out the kind of things that you can or can't do. Yeah.
Gentlemen, any question? All right, if there are none, please let's give a very, very, very amazing and worth round of applause. Guys, it's not easy talking in front of people. Thank you very much, Sharon, and indeed you're a storyteller. Our next, you met our first, do we call them sponsors? Do you call them sponsors? Somebody who's giving you 80% sponsorship. That person is a sponsor. So you met the first partner for today's event. I'd like to introduce you to the next brand that has made today possible. And the person who's taking us through this brand is none other than Veronica. Veronica is a senior recruitment consultant at BrighterMonday. And she's been a recruiter for 8 years. She's passionate about the youth, and that is why she's here today. So, karibu sana. Thank you. And you get a gift from me.
Okay, so before she sorts out everything, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so my name is Veronica Wanjiro. As she mentioned, I've done recruitment for the last 8 years. Probably one way or another, we have interacted behind the scenes. Probably I've reviewed your CV, I've sent you any advices online, you know. Probably I've interviewed you. We may have met one way or another, yeah? So I don't know who has tried apply for a job with BrighterMonday before. What was your experience? What job were you applying for? Were you called for an interview? No. What was your experience? Did you apply? Okay, so that's why I'm here. I'm probably here to help you know what maybe you may have been doing wrong or what you may have been doing right, yeah? All right. Okay, so who else has applied for a job with BrighterMonday? Yes, which job did you apply for? Yeah.
It was in accounts initially, since I was a graduate that time and I was looking for a job. So someone just advised me that the best platform for you to get a job, you can try BrighterMonday, yeah. So I started sending out applications in accounts, anything that was related to accounts or finance, but there was no any response that I got from them. Yeah.
Just a minute.
I keep saying I don't know how live TV does it, because every time I have an event, there's always something like this happening. So I don't know how presenters do it live, but yeah, we are good to go. Give me a minute. I will present from my laptop.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so I'll just go again. So I started out like applying for jobs on Brighter Monday. So anything that was related to what I'd done in campus, so I would send out applications, be it finance, be it accounts. So those were the areas I was looking for jobs for, but I never got any response from them.
Okay.
We keep on trying. Yeah.
All right. Anybody who has gotten a job through our platform? Totally nobody. Yeah, so probably what I need to highlight, many of you know Brighter Monday as a platform, as a website, yeah? So Brighter Monday is a company, you know, besides the website, it is a company. So we have companies that approach us to post jobs on their behalf, yeah? And we also have positions that we will run through as recruiters internally at Brighter Monday. Yeah? So you may have applied for jobs that we did not have control to handle them because they were posted by our clients. So let's say, for instance, you mentioned Safaricom may use our platform to advertise for these positions. And now we'll have positions whereby clients approach us and tell us, for instance, we're looking for a marketing manager. So from there, we will now shortlist those applications, we'll interview those candidates, and now we're going to forward a shortlist to the client, yeah? So you may say you applied jobs with Brighter Monday and you never get feedback, but not all are within our control in terms of how we run through the application process, you know? Yeah, so do not tire, kindly keep applying, you know? And I'm sure by the end of the day when I'm done here, you will be at a better position on what will make you stand out for you to be called for an interview with us, yeah? All right, so I'm going, as part of personal branding, I'm going to touch on what key hiring managers look at. So when you talk about hiring managers, what comes in your mind? This is a recruiter or any employer that is looking to hire, yeah? So definitely every year you see so many people graduating every year, you know? Masters, undergraduates, higher diplomas, PhDs. So the job market is flooded with people who are qualified. At the end of each year, you will have very big numbers who are graduating. So that definitely tells you the job market is flooded. When you look at the jobs that are available, are they as much as the people who are graduating. So at the end of the day, there's no balance. So you need to find a way that makes you stand out amongst the crowd. Yeah? So we also have very many factors that is causing unemployment. We saw COVID, where so many people lost jobs. Yeah? We also seen technology make so many positions declared redundant. This is because if a machine can do your job, I mean, why do we require you? Yeah? So when you're applying for a job, what is the first thing that comes in your mind? When probably you visit the BrighterMonday platform, what is the first thing that comes in your mind? Sorry? Okay, let us look at it as a candidate. You want to apply for a job. What do you think you need? A CV. Good. So we're going to look on at a customized CV. You know, you can have a CV, but it's not customized. You know, you probably you've gone to an interview, or even you've shared a CV with your friend, and they tell you his CV yako, you know, and you can even share your CV with somebody and they tell you this is a good CV. So what makes up a good CV? You know, so a good CV is well structured and it's easy to read. It also does not contain any grammatical punctuation mistakes. Yeah. So currently, many organizations are using systems online whereby they are looking for automated tracking systems. So your CV needs to be ATS-friendly. What do I mean by ATS-friendly? So let's say you're a human resource manager and you're looking for somebody who is good with payroll management. So does your CV show that you have the skills? If it does not, your CV will be ranked by a system. And this is how probably you will end up applying for so many jobs at the end of the day, and you're not getting called for an interview. Yeah? So also when you're sharing your CV, it's good to provide examples. Provide examples of what you've been able to achieve. Yeah? I'm sure most of you here have years of experience, but you know, anybody would want to highlight what they've been able to achieve for the several years, you know? So what makes a bad CV? So a bad CV is not, it's messy, it's disorganized. We have CVs that the fonts are different, the sizes are different, no contact details, no information. If it's the educational background, it is missing, you know. So also the grammatical and spelling mistakes, we have CVs that just from the outlook, you are able to identify simple grammatical and spelling mistakes. And you know, even while using Word, it will help you autocorrect, you know. So it's only good if you ensure that your CV is error-free. So also when you have your CV, are you providing relevant information on your CV? Yeah. So we have people who will put so much details that are not relevant to the job that you're applying for. So you need to ensure that you stick to the relevant information that is needed. So also, as I mentioned, a CV is not a CV. Especially when you're applying with multinationals, you're sure that they are using an applicant tracking system. So you need to ensure that your CV is ATS compliant. I'm sure probably you have heard about the ATS compliance. Okay, so as I mentioned, ATS means applicant tracking system. So this is a system that uses artificial intelligence to read your CV. This is not a human being doing that. It's artificial intelligence. So what are we looking at an ATS compliant CV? We're looking for keywords. For instance, what is your profession? Real estate. What are the key skills required for a real estate person? Yes. So, have you highlighted the skills you have and are on the job description of the job that you're applying for? Do they tally? Because this is a system, you know. You may have a good CV, you may have the necessary skills, but if your CV does not contain the relevant skills that the system or we are looking for, that is how you will miss out. So if you know you are applying through, especially for multinationals, we have these applications whereby you're told to send to an email. That one, it's okay, you can use your old CV. But when you're applying for an organization that you know you're using a system, kindly make sure your CV is ATS compliant. Okay? So you also need to talk about your experience in general. Do not shy off, and also do not be so wordy, and be specific and be detailed as much as possible as you can. So what else do we look at? So we look at relevant work experience. Yeah? So sometimes we advertise a job, let's say like even a sales manager, and we can even get about 10,000 applications, I can tell you for free. But from the 10,000 applications, about 60% do not have relevant work experience. You know, so you need to ensure when you are applying for a job, you have the relevant work experience at the end of the day, just to avoid frustrations on your end. You know, you will not be a salesperson and you have experience probably 2 years and above, and you want to apply for a job that is in medicine. You know, at the end of the day, it does not relate, you know. So you need to ensure that you have the relevant work experience, and as well as you have the experience, ensure that it is highlighted on your CV. Yeah. So we also have career continuity. That is something that we are keen to look at. So what is career continuity? So we're looking at your stability in your career. Nobody wants to engage somebody who has very short stints at a job. For instance, you worked with Safaricom for 2 months. You went to ABL for another 2 months, probably jumped into KBC for 3 months. I mean, how sure am I that I'm going to onboard you and you are going to stay with us? So does your CV portray career continuity? You know, it costs a lot of money to train. Even the whole recruitment process is very expensive. So we need to be sure that your CV is able to demonstrate career continuity. Probably, we know in the next 1 to 3 years, you're going to be with the company, and we are going to achieve so many goals. Yeah? So, something else we look at is passion. I know the first question that comes in when you're looking for a job is, I need the money. Money is important. I know even probably when you're having a current job and you want to move to another job, you're like, I'm looking for another job because I need financial impact. Yes? But are you showing the passion for this job? You need to demonstrate that you have the passion of the job that you're interviewing, the job that you're applying for, and the job that you want to get. You know, so what are some of these questions that we ask when we are interviewing candidates, just to get to understand if you're passionate about the job? So I will ask you, like, how do you connect with other professionals in your industries? Yeah. So there was someone from the criminology. I can ask you, like, how do you keep in touch with people in your industry? The answer you'll give me will be able to help me understand if you're really passionate about your job. So I can also ask you, why are you excited about this position? I need you to tell me why. Like, why? Why you? You know, you need to stand out. What is this that is standing out for you that makes you excited about this position? I can also ask you how you define your success. So success comes in different forms. Whatever success is for me is not what success is for you. So you need to define success that is related to the position. Some companies will also have to ask you why you want to work with us. So let's say you're passionate about social work. Yeah. If it's an NGO, you need to relate their work with what you're currently doing, just to make them show them why you want to work for them. Yeah? So something else that we look at is communication. So Sharon was here and talked about also dress code. That is part of communication. What are you able to communicate as a potential job seeker? If it is an interview, are you there on time? You know, even the invitation to an interview, do you reply to say that you will be available for the interview? Do you even thank them for inviting you an interview, or you just get an interview and you start preparing? Communication starts from when you're making the application, to when you get that first invite, to when you now attend the interview, and when you, after the interview, what do you tell the person who was interviewing you? You know, it's always good to drop a note, drop an email. If the person is on LinkedIn, drop them a message, tell them thank you for the opportunity to interact with you during this time. It's always good to have good communication skills. This goes both verbal and non-verbal. How do you present yourself in an interview? You know, gestures is something I will see on your face. If you're tensed, I'm going to pick that, you know. If probably it's a job that requires you to be very presentable and you show up in the interview not presentable, that is a red flag for any employer. Yeah, so you need to ensure that you are able to communicate on email, even from the call you get, you're being interviewed. I call you, I tell you, my name is Veronica from BrighterMonday. You're asking me, unataka nini? You know, it's always good, just listen through. Even the way you pick your calls, if it's a new number, you never know who will call you tomorrow. Just ensure that you have good communication skills. Yeah. So something else that we are very keen on is culture fit. So what makes up the organization culture? So this is made up of values, beliefs, systems, set of behaviors. Yeah? Like BrighterMonday, I'll share some of our values: respect, courage, customer obsession. Those are just a few of what we value. So if you would like to work for BrighterMonday one day, are these values aligned with your values? And so any employer is keen to know. As you can see on the puzzle, if they picked you and fixed you there, would you fit in? And first, do you even know what the culture of the organization is? Do you understand the culture that you need to portray during the interview for you to be a good fit? So what can you do for you to understand the culture of an organization? So you can just research about the company. Luckily, we are in times where we have even platforms like Glassdoor. You'll be able to get feedback on people's experience from the employees, people who are interviewed there, also the website. You'll be able to research. Also, we have a platform, LinkedIn. It does not hurt to reach out to anybody working for that organization just to help them, to help you understand what the culture looks like for them. So you also can follow their social media pages. Nowadays, you know, if you're somebody who is playful and you see the organization, they have a TikTok account, you know, that tells you a lot. You know, if you're the kind of serious person and you see the TikTok account, you may feel probably this is not what I'm looking for. You know, there are so many ways to tell what the culture of the organization is just from their social media pages. Yeah. So also from the job description of the role, you can have an idea. Probably from the requirements, they can even mention you're looking for somebody who is passionate, somebody who is family-oriented. We have roles and companies that mention such characters that will be a guide to what exactly the organization is looking for in terms of a culture fit. They can even mention they're looking for somebody who is a problem solver. So you need to ask yourself, are you really one? And if you're not, what can you do for you to get this job? So you can also study the company's vision and the mission just to understand what exactly the organization needs of you as a job seeker. So I think that's all for me for today. Unless you have any questions, I know job seeking is not a walk in the park. Many of you mentioned here you're not working. And it can only get easier if you understand the dynamics of the job market. You know? So do not tire. You can reach out to our platforms. We normally share materials with all the people who have subscribed with us. And that is why it is important that you register and update your profile, because as part of our sourcing, we use candidates who are on our database sometimes. We reach out to them and we engage them. So follow us on our social media platforms just to have an understanding. Also on our website, subscribe and update your profile. And I believe probably if we all followed what we have discussed here, I'm sure some of you will come with a testimony at the end of the year that you're better placed. And even if you have not gotten a job, you have been called for an interview with BrighterMonday. Thank you. I'm open to any questions.
Questions?
Thank you for the presentation. It's on there are some jobs that they have so many job descriptions, like it feels like they're recruiting for 2 people. So I'm wondering, you might have one skill set, but you're lacking for something. Let's say, for instance, they're looking for a communications person. And you have the advertising bit, you have the marketing bit, but now they've included graphics. I don't know if you get that. So how do you navigate your way? Because you feel like you can do it, but that graphics bit, you don't have it. How do you work it out?
How do you work it out from the application?
Yes, do I just ignore the whole thing because I know I did not tick every box here. Yeah, because I'm seeing most of the jobs at times they have it's like 2 different people.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so that is coming up currently, because many organizations are really trying to save on costs, so they're trying to combine various positions to be one position. And sometimes you don't have to tick all the boxes. And any serious employer will be able to balance out a job description. So there's no way the job will come out like you have not met 80% of the requirements. So if you feel you meet 75% and above, give it a try.
Can I add onto that? As you give it a try, between the time that you apply for that job and the time that you are called for the interview, upskill for whatever you feel that you have a gap on, right? Right now, employers are more skill-based,
yes,
as opposed to before where it was, oh, nice, you have the right attitude, upskill. Next question.
So how am I upscaling? Maybe, is it a month? Because the course is, like I'm saying, that graphics. How do you do that? Do I start looking for courses for graphic design or get someone to help me in this to navigate?
It's okay. So nowadays, with online, we have so much resources that are underutilized. So if you feel you have a gap, even probably during your job search, like let's say you're in real estate, and nowadays every job that probably has real estate is highlighting project management. Will you continue saying you're not qualified, or you're going to do something about it? So you need to, once you identify a gap, make efforts towards filling that gap. Any other questions?
My question goes to, especially when you're applying for jobs with the multinationals, the behavioral questions. How do you handle them? Thank you.
Okay, so like when you, during the interview or when you are applying for the job? During the interview. So, you know, behavioral questions are a tricky bit. Even when you went for interview coaching, nobody can coach you about your behavior. Nobody can coach you about your behavior. But there are things you can look at, probably based on the job description. They may have highlighted various behaviors that caught your eye. So you need to prepare towards those areas. And the best thing to share about behavior questions is to share a scenario. So let's say they're looking for somebody who is, what kind of behavior can we give? Give me an example.
They're looking for a customer service representative. They want somebody who's bubbly, talkative. Those are behaviors, right?
Yes, they are behaviors. So how are you going to demonstrate your behaviors? You know, if you came and told me, I am bubbly, I love people, I love smiling, you know, that is not enough. Share a scenario that you are able to demonstrate this specific behavior. Just even talk about an erratic customer who walked in. This is what they did. This is how I ended up helping them. And this was the end result to both the customer as well as the organization. So it's always good that you give a scenario. It's more relatable than telling me, you know, even when you meet a drunkard, atakwambia mimi sijalewa. You know. But if you come and tell me, I feel I'm a good I'm a good communicator because the last time this happened in our office, this is what I did and this was the end result. You are able to quantify and the recruiter or the employer is able to relate more with you at a more personal level, if it's a scenario.
Thank you for this chance. I have a question here. During interview, most of the times, most interviewers ask can tell me about your weakness. So on that question, how do I deal with a question like that? And what is the secret about the question?
Okay, so let us make it as practical as we can be. What is your weakness?
I normally don't have the answer for that.
Let somebody else try it. Yes, there's someone there.
Okay. Let's say a weakness can be perfectionism in a way. Makes you slow, but in a good way. You are able to accomplish a lot with it. You're able to deliver the best that you have to deliver.
So the question is, what is your weakness?
I would say perfectionism is a weakness.
So how is that a weakness?
It makes you slow because you have to ensure that everything is organized in a good way to ensure that you deliver the best out of it.
And what are you doing about it?
Ensuring that just looking at things in, what should I say, there's no perfect situation. So whatever you have to deliver, don't give the bare minimum, but ensure you give it the best, not perfect.
Awesome. Let's have a lady try that.
Okay, I'm Sharon.
Yes.
My weakness is frustration. Okay, like when I give something my best and then the outcomes doesn't come as I expected, I feel so bad. Yes.
You throw the documents?
No. No. Okay. what I do, I always tell myself, there are more opportunities, there are more chances, and good days are ahead. Yes.
Awesome. So I love the way you're tackling the questions. So once you're asked what is your weakness, you need to highlight the problem and share what you're doing towards your weakness. If you just say, I don't have ability to multitask, and this position requires somebody who will multitask, but you say you're working towards it by doing 1, 2, 3, don't you think anybody can give you a chance to work with them? So you need to, as much as you're giving a point, always have a supporting answer. The same way as when you say, this is your strength. So it is your strength. What has it enabled you to do in your career? Don't just say, my strength is I'm a good communicator, I have good ability to multitask. We hear that every day. We hear that every day, and it's just, somebody will tell you, I'm a good communicator. The job description wanted a good communicator. I'm presentable. I'm good at presentational skills. We hear that every day. So you need to say you're a good communicator. What has this good communication done for you in your career? Same as the weakness. This is what I am weak at, and this is what I am doing to work towards my weaknesses. Yeah. Any other question?
Okay, so my question is, my name is Stephen. So I've noticed that most multinational companies, or let's say the global ones, not the local ones, when they advertise for jobs, they even put like the salary, even if it's a range, they have it. So my question is 2 parts. Why do most local companies don't do that? And now that local companies don't do that, what are the tools or the ways that as a job applicant you could use to be able also to negotiate a good salary so that you're also not shortchanged?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I think why multinationals put salaries on their adverts is because that is standard. You will get for a multinational organization, those who are at a certain job grade are paid the same. But for local companies, that highly depends. How did you join the organization? What is your educational background? What are your years of experience? There are so many factors that I think it's the Kenyan mentality that will interview you and give you a pay scale. We have people who have interviewed for positions that probably are worth 100 and they end up giving 50,000. It also depends on how you present yourself as a candidate. So when it comes to negotiation of the salary, it's always good to give a range. Do not stick with one figure, because you may be below what they are offering and you may be very high. So you need to give room for negotiation, because this shows you are open-minded. And at the end of the day, if they are giving you what is below you, what you're getting, you just keep trying. That's what I can say. But it's always good to give a range. Do not be fixed. And also you need to do your research, probably even given in the market, you need to do your research. For these positions, what is the pay range? Do not go there overquote or underquote. It's always good you have at least a place where you can start the negotiation.
I think because of time, if you have any more questions, what we can do is you can approach her and have a one-on-one. We have finally come to the end of this session. Asanteni sana. Before we let her go, please, a big round of applause.
So thank you so much.
We have refreshments at the foyer. Please, you can proceed, get some tea, there are some snacks. Network, know who the person sitting next to you is. We have a team from BrighterMonday and UNICAF. Please have a conversation with them, find out more if you need to on what was presented here, how to create a profile on BrighterMonday, how to access the UNICAF sponsorship, or just even say hi to them and tell them they did a good job. Asanteni Sena. To our partners at UNICAF, thank you so much for the support, for the partnership. To the BrighterMonday team, you guys are rock stars. Good job.